Current state of the Texans organization have been running wild over the last week, and former Texan Andre Johnson publicly sided with Watson. He took a shot at team executive Jack Easterby. He tweeted, "If I'm Deshaun Watson, I will stand my ground. The Texans organization is known for wasting players' careers. Since Jack Easterby has walked into the building, nothing good has happened in or for the organization. And for some reason, someone can't seem to see what's going on. Pathetic." DeAndre Hopkins weighed in on the situation, retweeting that and said, "When Dre speak, listen." So clearly there is something very strange going on here.
Well, first thing, the messenger matters here. Andre Johnson, classy, quiet.
Doesn't get involved in stuff.
Team guy.
Yep.
So this is like Calvin Johnson saying something. There are athletes that do not get involved in Twitter and in these kind of discussions. So when Andre Johnson talks, it's like Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah, it's like DeAndre Hopkins said, when Dre speaks, listen.
Yeah, so the messenger matters a lot here. And if Andre Johnson says it, my gut feeling is he sees and feels the same thing we do about the Texans, which is the Jack Easterby situation feels almost culty down there, and that's the word getting used now.
If you don't know what's going on here, don't feel bad, because none of us knew who Jack Easterby was before a couple weeks ago. He was an intern in Jacksonville in 2004, and he was with the Chiefs in 2011 and 2012 in a character development role. And then he went to the Patriots in 2013 as a character coach, and then he turned into the title of team development director. He was also a chaplain for the Patriots. He was named the executive vice president of football operations in Houston in January of 2020 and serves as the team executive vice president of team development in 2019.
It's the strangest professional NFL ladder climbing I've ever seen, from team pastor to running a franchise. And I think a lot of players in Houston are saying, that's not really where you get GMs. And he has now befriended the owner, Cal McNair, and McNair trusts him. And the players, by the way, 80-90% are out on it, and that's a problem.
There's a couple ways to reach people. You can reach them through fear. You can reach them through romance or some sort of,
physical attraction,
physical intrigue.
Yeah.
And then you can touch and change people's hearts, right? And that forms a very strong bond.
Yeah.
When you are in that sort of religious space where you're, changing people's lives.
Yeah.
Sometimes there tends to be a little bit of a, over-attachment to everything else that you say and recommend, where you may be giving good spiritual advice.
Doesn't mean you give good football advice.
Right, you may be giving good personal advice to get your life on track. I don't know what that has to do with putting together a football organization and personnel. This is a bad situation in Houston. We're talking about Philadelphia not being a good coaching position. This is a terrible coaching position. I would rather have Philly. At least in Philly, they just won a Super Bowl. They have some pieces in place. Carson Wentz is going to be there because they just fired Doug Peterson. You don't know what's going on in Houston. What is this? So we're going to walk around in cloaks now?
It feels
what's happening?
It feels like Scientology and cleats.
It's so weird.
It's so culty.
It's very, very strange.
Yeah.
So the Seahawks have parted ways with offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer. The team announced the decision yesterday, citing philosophical differences, which is a very classy way of saying we are not on the same page. Schottenheimer spent the last 3 seasons running the offense in Seattle. Seattle scored over 30 points in 7 of their first 8 games this season, but they scored more than 30 just once the rest of the year, and that was against the Jets. They really took a pretty quick dive this season.
Can I have one opinion here?
Yes.
Okay, so Pete Carroll wants to run the football. Okay, then maybe don't make the offensive line the weakness of the franchise, number one. And then number two, don't draft Rashad Penny in the first round, who's a bust, when Nick Chubb's available. Pete Carroll wants to run the football. Your offensive line's a liability, and your running backs, I like Chris Carson, when he's available, but you're asking, this is not a situation like Cleveland where you're like, run the football. Yeah, it's the highest graded offensive line, and you got Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. You can do that. Or Cowboys a few years ago, run the football. Tyron Smith, Travis Frederick.
Yeah, you have the best offensive line in football, and you have Ezekiel Elliott.
So if you want to run the football, draft better running backs. You whiffed on a first-round pick like 3 years ago.
Put together an offensive line.
Yeah, outside of Dwayne Brown, left tackle. I do like, they got a rookie out of LSU, right guard, Jamal, I'm forgetting his last name. Damian Lewis, my bad. I think he's got a lot of potential. He's a big kid. But, I mean, again, the offensive line and the running backs are an issue. Rarely healthy, underachieved, but that's what Pete wants. And I think Schottenheimer probably said, I think we should this is a Russ offense. Let's throw,
Well, to your point, like, it is a Russ, well, to Schottenheimer's point, I guess, if that's what he wanted, it is Russ's offense, but offenses need balance. Like, yes, we know what Russ can do when things fall apart. That's why we know he's spectacular. That's why we know Deshaun Watson's spectacular, because he makes something out of nothing.